Hey everyone, this is Brittany from House of Sage and Lavender, and today we are going to be doing Chapter 1 of Astrology for yourself, a workbook for personal transformation. So Part 1, Learning the Basics. Chapter 1, Introducing the Zodiac. Astrology as a Language of Energy. Astrology is a language, art, and science that studies the relationship between the cycles of celestial bodies and the affairs of people on Earth. Derived from the Greek roots astron and logos, astrology literally means star talk. The purpose of learning astrology is to better know and understand ourselves and our place in the cosmos. In the following pages, we are going to take you on a journey of self-discovery that only astrology can provide. If someone were to ask you to describe astrology, you'd most likely think of the 12 signs of the zodiac, popularly known as the sun signs. They are listed in Table 1 along with their symbols and corresponding dates. Beside this table, Figure 1 displays the zodiacal signs arranged in their traditional circle format. Zodiac is Greek for circle of animals. On an energy level, the signs represent the 12 primary energy fields, the formative principles of the universe, or the archetypal patterns. On a psychological level, the signs correspond to 12 basic personality types, and even more specifically to the 12 basic psychological needs that each and every human being experiences. Table 2 gives a brief overview of these personality traits. Although everyone has all 12 of these signs somewhere in their chart, each person was born under a specific sun sign. In the following exercise, you will learn to determine your own sun sign. Exercise 1. I learned my sun sign. Using Table 1, and your knowledge of your date of birth, determine the zodiacal sign under which you were born. Then fill in the sentences below. So for me, my sun is in the sign of Taurus. Now that you know your sun sign, how can you understand its meaning? One way is to pick up a mass market pop astrology book and read the paragraphs on your sign. Unfortunately, besides giving you a very superficial description of your sign, these books do not tell why each sign means what it does. In the following pages, we are going to examine the zodiac in a much more meaningful way. We are going to discover the building blocks that underlie the zodiac. These basic principles will provide you with a new and deeper understanding of your sun sign's attributes. The building blocks of the zodiac: element, polarity, modality, and orientation. The signs of the zodiac represents the 12 primary energies of the patterns of our universe. Each sign or energy pattern is a unique combination of the concepts known as polarity, element, and modality. The 4 elements. Although you may be unaware of it, you are already quite familiar with the astrological language. Consider the following statements. He's down to earth. She's got her feet on the ground. He's solid as a rock. She's all fired up. He's too spaced out. Her still waters run deep. You have no doubt used such figures of speech to describe yourself or others at various times, but have you ever pondered their origins? If not, you may be surprised to learn that these and other common expressions are derived from the astrological elements of fire, earth, air, and water. These four elements, fire, plasma, air, gases, earth, solids, and water, liquids, have been used by all ancient cosmologies, the Greeks, Chinese, Hindus, American Indians, etc., to describe the basic building blocks of all organic and psychic forms. The symbology of the elements is reflected in the song with the chorus chant of earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, fire my spirit. Astrologically, the elements depict four distinct personality temperaments that are basic to human nature. Fire is the identity principle. Earth is the material substance principle. Air is the mental principle. And water is the feeling principle. It is from these four elements that the 12 signs of the zodiac are derived. Let us now explore the psychological characteristics of the elements and learn how they are expressed through the signs of the zodiac. As we describe the elements in detail, you will undoubtedly recognize portraits of yourself, family, friends, and co-workers. The fire signs. Identity. The astrological language contains 3 signs that specifically express the fire principle. They are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The element of fire corresponds to the active life force, the principle that animates and energizes. Fire represents the energy of spirit. Individuals with an emphasis on fire often express themselves through direct action and inspire others with their visions. Excuse me. Fire seeks to realize its identity. One of the most important principles of astrology states that any positive principle, when exaggerated, can become negative. Hence, the overly fiery individual can turn assertion into aggression, enthusiasm into fanaticism, or daring into recklessness. Like a fire raging out of control, this person consumes everything in their path. On the other hand, a person deficient in fire lacks energy, zest, and joie de vivre. These are the people who need 3 cups of coffee to get them through the day. Here are the keywords for the fire signs. At any time during the video, you can pause to read the information, or you can come back and rewatch it in a little while. The air signs, social and mental. 3 signs of the zodiac personify the qualities of air. They are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The element of air corresponds to the mental realm of ideas, where thoughts become the structures through which energy precipitates and coalesces into form. Air represents the energy of breath. Individuals with an emphasis of air often express themselves by sharing and communicating their ideas to others. Air seeks to make social and intellectual connections. Too much air produces the up-in-the-air or airhead individual who cannot ground him or herself long enough to apply any of their marvelous ideas. These people often appear scattered, inconsistent, and indecisive. Too little air, on the other hand, can lead to a lack of perspective and objectivity in life. Difficulties in learning and poor communication skills may also be the result of a deficiency of this element. And here are the keywords for the air signs. The earth signs. Material. 3 signs of the zodiac embody the traits of earth. They are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The element earth corresponds to the physical realm where objects are perceived directly by the senses as real and tangible. Earth represents the energy that gives form and substance to creation. Individuals with an emphasis of earth often express themselves by mastering the world of common sense reality, actualizing their dreams, and supplying their basic survival needs. Earth seeks to provide material substance. Too much earth in the birth chart produces a stick in the mud. The person whose overcautious nature and fear of change prevents him or her from taking risks and breaking out of an old rut. Too little earth, however, creates an ungrounded individual who has difficulties coping with the mundane responsibilities of everyday life. When he or she promises that your book will be returned next week, you can expect to see it in the following month. The solid earth person, on the other hand, feels obligated to keep commitments and to fulfill responsibilities. And here are the keywords for the earth signs. And then we have the water signs, emotional and soul. 3 signs that best reflect the watery temperament are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The element of water corresponds to the emotional realm of feelings where the subtleties of meaning and interrelatedness are perceived. Water represents the energy and power of unconscious forces that motivate us. Individuals with an emphasis of water often express themselves through their sympathy, compassion, and intuitive awareness. Water seeks emotional and soul understanding. Overly watery people live on an emotional roller coaster. Calm one day, stormy the next, and they are forever turbulent. Such individuals need to bring their undisciplined feelings under their conscious control in order to experience inner peace. Moreover, watery folks may perceive themselves as weak, helpless, and needing protection. Hence, they need to transform these feelings of dependency by tapping into their powers and inner strength. If you don't think that water can be powerful, visualize a roaring waterfall or an ocean at high tide. On the other hand, individuals who lack water can easily become cold and unsympathetic. In order to develop their feeling nature, they often form close ties with watery types. And here are the keywords for the water signs. If at any time you have questions, please feel free to leave a comment and I will answer them as I see them. Here is figure 2. From the wheel in figure 2, locate your own sun sign. Determine which element it falls under, then turn to table 3A or 3B and find your element table and locate the keywords that best describe you. Then copy them exactly onto the blank ones below. So my sun sign's element is, if I'm going to use mine for an example, is earth. I apply this energy skillfully when I am practical or grounded. I apply this energy unskillfully when I am stubborn or inflexible. Next, we have the astrological polarities. Before we leave the four elements, let us consider for a moment how they interact among themselves. If, for example, we take the fire element and ask what other element is most compatible with or supportive of it, what might the answer be? What element literally feeds the flame of fire and is necessary for the fire's continued existence? The needed element is air. On the other hand, if you planted a seed in the parched earth and wanted an element to nourish the soil so that the seed could grow, which would you pick? The answer is water. Thus, we see that fire and air can be grouped into one category and earth and water into another. What distinguishes these categories from one another? Fire-air signs are more outgoing and self-expressive, pouring forth their energies into the world. Their key word is freedom. The earth-water signs, on the other hand, are more ingoing and self-repressive, magnetizing what they need and conserving their energies within themselves. Their key word is security. This distinction is found in all ancient cosmologies, which describe the universe as formed by the interplay of two opposing forces or polarities, light and dark, positive and negative, etc. The ancient Chinese philosophers called the active positive energy pole yang, while the receptive negatively charged energy pole was named yin. The fire and air signs correspond to the yang pole, while the earth and water signs correspond to the yin pole, as seen in the diagram below. From now on, we will be using the terms yin and yang to describe astrological gender, where they have less prerogative connotations than the traditional descriptive phrases of masculine, feminine, and positive, negative. Table 4 provides some keywords that further describe these two opposing energy impulses. So here we have exercise 3. By now you probably know your sun sign's polarity. If your sun sign is fire or air, the sun polarity is yang, and if it is earth or water, then the polarity is yin. Using this information, complete the following sentences. And again, we are using mine for example. My sun sign's polarity is yin. Two characteristics of this polarity are night force and introverted. Here's table 4, the keywords for the polarities. Once again, you have learned a little more about yourself. As we stated in the last exercise, your sun sign will not always describe you perfectly, but in most cases should be fairly accurate. The modalities. Clearly, the four elements describe four distinct personality temperaments. Alone, however, they cannot depict the richness and complexity of the astrological language. Consider for an example the fire signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Though the signs comprise a common thread, the fire element, each is a unique strand. Aries is a pioneer, Leo is a performer, and Sagittarius the philosopher. These differences arise because each sign manifests its fiery nature through a distinct mode. The 12 signs of the zodiac can be divided into 3 groups called modes or modalities, each of which contains 4 signs. The 3 modalities known as Cardinal, Fixed, and Mutable describe a threefold cyclic process. The cardinal phase initiates and generates energy and corresponds to the signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The fixed phase stabilizes and concentrates energy. It corresponds to the signs Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. The mutable phase adapts and distributes energy and corresponds to the signs Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The elements and modalities may be distinguished in the following manner. The elements describe how energy manifests as form. The modalities depict how energy manifests as movement, specifically as centrifugal, centripetal, and spiralic patterns. These patterns can be portrayed through the image of the wheel. The cardinal phase represents outward centrifugal motion corresponding to the rim. The fixed phase symbolizes inward centripetal motion corresponding to the hub. The mutable phase describes linking spiralic motion corresponding to the spokes that join the hub of the rim. Let's now explore the modalities in greater detail. The cardinal signs. Initiating action. The cardinal modality is expressed in 4 signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The cardinal signs correspond to centrifugal radiating energy, which moves outward in a definite direction. The essential nature of these signs is to initiate action, start things, get things going. The person with an exaggeration of the cardinal mode suffers from choosing too many activities and commitment. While these individuals may start a number of projects, they rarely complete them. With the deficiency of cardinal energy, however, an individual may lack drive, initiative, and the ability to engage in purposeful activity. The fixed signs. Stabilizing security. The 4 fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Fixed signs correspond to centripetal radiating energy moving inward towards a center. The essential nature of these signs is to preserve and sustain what was started in the cardinal phase. Whereas cardinal signs start projects, fixed signs finish them. The former act, the latter draw action to them. Fixed signs exhibit persistence, endurance, and fixity of purpose. When overly fixed, they become rigid, stubborn, and unyielding. Hence, their problems are usually chronic, requiring a great deal of time and energy to resolve. Those who are deficient in the fixed influence often lack concentration, stamina, and perseverance. The mutable signs, adapting to learning. The 4 mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The mutable signs correspond to spiralic patterns of energy. The essential nature of mutable signs is to take what was initiated in cardinal and stabilize in the fixed phase, and adapt these energies to the changing conditions of time and space. As the spoke of the wheel links the hub to the rim, the mutable person is the perfect go-between, making contacts and connections wherever they travel. Contrary to the fixed predecessor, this individual is flexible and adaptable, thriving on change and variety. Excessively mutable individuals tend to be overly changeable and restless. Hence, they need to focus on a set direction and avoid dissipating their vital force. Mutable types can be high-strung, prone to worry, and periodically suffer from nervous exhaustion. Hence, periods of rest and relaxation are necessary to maintain balance. The immutable person may be likened to the rigid tree that is toppled by a strong gale. Rather, he or she should emulate the willow, gracefully yielding to the howling wind and thereby adapting to the forces of change. Now that we have described the modalities, read over the element modality wheel in Figure 4. In addition, review the keywords of the modalities in Table 5. Here are the qualities of the cardinal modality, qualities of the fixed, qualities of the mutable, Exercise 4. My sun sign's modality. My sun sign's modality is fixed. I apply this energy skillfully when I am focused, constant, or persistent. I apply this energy unskillfully when I am obsessed or stubborn. Once again, do the above keywords fit your personality? In most cases, you should notice a correlation between the keywords you picked and your character traits. The building blocks summarized. Let us summarize what we have learned about element, polarity, and modality by following the evolution of energy from unity to differentiation. Refer to Figure 5 while reading the following passage. The primordial nature of all substance is unified, whole, and undifferentiated. However, as energy transforms into matter, it takes on the appearance of distinct material form. The one divides, polarizing itself into two, which spawns a dualistic reality. The first division of energy into two is known as polarity. In astrology, polarity divides the signs into two groups of opposite energy impulses. Yang is the positive charge, and the yin the negative charge. The 6 signs, Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius, every other one on the zodiacal wheel, corresponds to the positive electrical charge, while the 6 signs, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces, corresponds to the negative electrical charge. This alternating energy pulse regulates the exhale and inhale breath, which animates all life. The next step in the differentiation from the one occurs when each of these two polarities again subdivides to create 4 basic energy forms. These forms of energy are known as the elements: fire, air, earth, and water. Each element corresponds to a group of 3 sides. The final classification is that of modality, as polarity refers to the electrical charge of energy, and element to the organic forms of energy. Modality describes the movement of energy. There exist 3 basic modes or movements of energy: centrifugal, outward; centripetal, inward; and spiraling. These modalities manifest through the zodiac as the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. Each modality corresponds to a group of 4 signs. The meaning of the 12 signs of the zodiac arise from a combination of these principles. Look now at the bottom of Figure 5 and observe the table formed by the elements: fire, earth, air, and water, and the modalities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Note that when we combine the 3 modalities, or the movement of energy, with the 4 elements, or the forms of energy, we create the 12 primary patterns of energy, which are called the zodiacal signs. In each elemental column, there exists 1 cardinal sign, 1 fixed sign, and 1 mutable sign. Likewise, in each modality row, there exists 1 fire sign, 1 air sign, 1 earth sign, and 1 water sign. Thus, each sign is a unique combination of modality and element. For example, refer to the row of the 4 cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Being cardinal, they are all concerned with initiating action. However, because each of these cardinal signs is a different element, the element classification determines what kind of action is being initiated. With Aries, a cardinal fire sign, it is identity action that is being initiated. This is why Aries symbolizes personal independence and self-awareness. With Cancer, a cardinal water sign, it is emotional and soul action that is being initiated. Hence, Cancers have a very active feeling nature. With Libra, a cardinal air sign, it is mental and social action that is being initiated. Thus, Librans are focused on establishing partnerships and learning to harmonize with others. And with Capricorn, a cardinal earth sign, it is material action that is being initiated. Consequently, Capricorn strive to create tangible forms that have a practical use in society. These interactions of elements and mode produce the basic structure of the astrological alphabet, the 12 signs of the zodiac. To help you internalize this structure, we would like you to complete exercise 5. So exercise 5, the elements and the modalities combined. Fill in the table below in the following manner. First, write the symbol for each sign, its modality and element. Then use the list we have provided, fill in the mode and element keywords to complete each line. This is done by placing the element keywords in the middle of the modality key phrase. For example, Aries is a cardinal, initiating action, and fire, identity. To formulate the key phrase, we place the words identity between initiating and action to form the phrase initiating identity action. We have placed the combinations in the first line of the table below. Using the same procedure, complete the remaining table. As an intermediate student, you will gain additional insights into the element mode sign relationships through completing this exercise. If you are a beginner and find the key phrase column difficult to complete, fill in the keywords for the first 2 columns under the headings mode and element. An answer key to this exercise is located at the end of the chapter. If you want to fill this out yourself, I would suggest you pause now. Alright, so we have exercise 5. We have Aries. We have cardinal, fire, initiating identity, action. Next is Taurus, fixed, earth, stabilizing material security. Gemini is mutable, air, adapting mental, social learning. Cancer is cardinal, water, initiating emotional soul action. Leo is fixed, air, fixed, fire, stabilizing identity security. Virgo is mutable, earth, adapting material learning. Libra, cardinal air, initiating mental social action. Scorpio, fixed water, stabilizing emotional soul security. Sagittarius, mutable, fire, adapting identity learning. Capricorn, cardinal earth, initiating material action. Aquarius, fixed air, stabilizing mental social security. And Pisces, mutable water, adapting emotional soul learning. The orientations, how we meet the world. The astrological orientations provide a final looking glass through which we may view our zodiacal friends. The orientations refer to 3 stages of relationship between the individual and his or her environment. The unfolding of these 3 orientations parallels the evolution of the 12 zodiacal signs. The first stage, the personal orientation, begins at infancy. At this time, the newborn is primarily focused on getting personal wants and needs met: food, clothing, warmth, personal contact. It sees itself at the center of a universe whose sole purpose is to assure its well-being. The initial 4 signs of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer correspond to the personal phase. As a child matures, it discovers that other people exist and that they too have legitimate needs. In this interpersonal phase, he or she becomes a social individual and learns to interact with a wide variety of individuals. The signs of Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio are interpersonal in nature. Finally, towards the end of life, the individual enters the transpersonal stage and seeks to understand his or her relationship with the universe at large. Ultimately, he or she must accept his or her physical mortality and find a spiritual connection to the infinite. The transpersonal signs are the final four signs of the zodiac: Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Like the elements and modalities, the orientations exhibit both positive and negative applications. The individual who exaggerates his or her personal orientation becomes selfish and egocentric. Those deficient in this perspective, however, experience difficulty in fulfilling their rudimentary survival needs. The overly interpersonal individual may become too other-directed and thereby lose touch with his or her own self. Yet without this orientation, a person is denied his or her need for human contact. The person with an emphasis on transpersonal signs may feel totally out of place in the mundane world. So concerned is he or she about discovering the meaning of life that each practical matters as paying the rent are often neglected. The person without this emphasis, however, experiences no connection to a greater whole and thus lacks a spiritual perspective towards life. Now that you know whether your sun sign is personal, interpersonal, or transpersonal, use the keywords below to complete the following. My sun sign's orientation is personal. This indicates that my own orientation towards life is focused on personal wants and needs. A final synthesis writing your sun sign interpretation. The building blocks of the zodiac, polarity, element, modality, and orientation, are graphically summarized for you in the wheel of Figure 6. Their respective keywords are listed in Table 6. Using the knowledge contained in this figure and table, you can discover the meaning of each sign of the zodiac, including your own sun sign. By combining the fundamental principles of element, polarity, modality, and orientation, the essential principles underlying the 12 signs are born. Now you know why those sun sign descriptions read the way they do. The multitude of personality traits and characteristics arise from these basic primal energies. For example, let us say that you were born on March 25th, a sun sign Aries. Our zodiacal wheel reveals that the sign of Aries contains the following traits: Yang, personal, Cardinal, fire. No wonder the horoscope column refers to you as fiery, pioneering, impulsive, and self-centered. And what about your successor, the steadfast, bull-headed, and down-to-earth Taurus? Are not these the traits of a fixed earth sign? And so the procession continues from the flighty and commutative Gemini, mutable air, to the enterprising and practical Capricorn, Cardinal Earth, a lawful zodiac unfolds. Here's Figure 6, the element mode polarity wheel. Exercise 7. This final exercise synthesizes what you have learned in the exercises of this chapter. It will help you to see how these principles define the characteristics of your own sun sign. Using Figure 6 and the keywords in Table 6, complete the following sentences. And again, we are using mine as an example. Number 1, my sun is in the sign of Taurus. 2, my sun sign element is Earth. 2 keywords for this element are stable and reliable. 3, my sun sign's polarity is Yin. 2 keywords for this polarity are receptive and intuitive. 4, my sun sign's modality is fixed. 2 keywords for this modality are focused and stubborn. 5, my sun sign's orientation is personal. A key phrase for this orientation is focused on personal wants and needs. Journal entry optional. Write a short personality description of yourself based upon the keywords you have chosen in the above exercise and throughout the chapter. Let this profile consist of keywords that reflect your sun sign's element, polarity, modality, and orientation. Consider this to be your sun sign self-portrait. Examine the words, phrases, and sentences that you have written, both from exercise 7 and from your journal entry. Do they in fact describe your essential nature very closely? You should find much of what you wrote quite accurate, yet sun sign astrology does contain a loophole. You may have discovered that your sun sign description either was incomplete or perhaps contradicted information you know to be true about yourself. The reason for these apparent discrepancies is clear to the seasoned astrologer. The sun is only one of the heavenly bodies that appears in your birth chart. Here we must make a clear distinction between the supermarket pop astrology, which is merely a sun sign parlor game, and the comprehensive scientific approach to astrology which you will learn through the book. In order to paint your true astrological self-portrait, you must go beyond your sun sign and study the influences of the moon, the 8 planets, and the asteroids. This is precisely why an interpretation provided by a professional astrologer is far more complete and accurate than a reading gleaned from a mass market sun book. In Chapter 3, Writing Your Personality Profile, you will follow the good example of the astrological counselor and learn to interpret your complete birth chart using all the letters of the astrological alphabet. But first you must learn to read and identify the letters. This you will accomplish in Chapter 2. With that being said, this concludes Chapter 1. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and then I will respond to them as I see them. I hope you enjoy and are ready for the next chapter. Please leave a thumbs up and comment down below. And if you want to keep track of when I go live with the next session, make sure you hit that subscribe bell to be notified. Until next time.